Okay, call the meeting to order for February 4th. Board of Selectmen have a regular meeting minutes of January 21st, 2025. Make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second them.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, in the last meeting, we talked a little bit about the well drone bids for the transfer station. We didn't have all three bids here. We do now. Yeah, Umbrella, definitely the lowest. At 9,071.66. Connecticut Wells came in at 15,718. And Eastern Water Solutions came in at 16,980. And everything was pretty much apples to apples. I mean, there's, some gave more casing, some different horsepower on the pumps. But basically, they're all within what we're looking for that RFP for the transfer station well.
Are we comfortable with the differences?
Well, given the history of, the history that town has with Grella, they're our water company for Eldridge Housing Senior Center. I'm comfortable with their price if that's what they're given, and we did ask them, say, are you good with this price? And they said yes. So they have a good reputation in the area, not that the other ones don't, because
Right.
all three of them you see all over the place here.
Yeah.
Great companies, but that's quite a savings to get that done. And we'll have more expenses like the plumbing, some faucets in the maintenance barn there, and in the future when we add the bathroom up at the office, there'll be more expenses, but this is get the well in, get it up and running.
Okay.
Make a motion for one or the other.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Umbrella.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
No, that was my question.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Memorandum of understanding came up for the emergency shelter. Per ordinance, we could just say we're going to utilize the school as a shelter, but we want to get something in writing with Region 20 on this. So Dave Hart kind of came up with this draft of a memorandum of understanding, basically outlining how it would work, who to contact, what our responsibilities are, what resources would be there for us, what's expected of us, what's expected of the Region 20. And I think it has a little bit more work to do, but I want to get out there to show you. And I think we want to do a walkthrough probably with whoever's in charge of facilities. I think it's Craig Revillard and probably the custodian over there and also the principal. Just so we know what's there, what's available for us, and probably section off the school for types of emergencies like this. We're not accessing the entire school, just what we need. And I think there's some more work to be done over there on the bathrooms to make sure they're all operating properly at the gym, the showers and everything. So this is kind of a rough draft. I want you to take a look at it when you can, and if there's anything that pops out at you. And speaking of MOUs, I was contacted by what's his first name? I always call him Binkowski from Region 20. He's the resource officer up there for armed security. And he's drafting MOU for us for when the school wants to utilize the town hall as a shelter for the children. In case something's happening over there, they have a place of refuge here. They already have keys for the doors to get in, fobs. So he needs to get something in writing for that as well. So he'll be sending that over. Maybe our next meeting will be all set with these two MOUs, and
Okay.
make it all happen.
Now, does this have to go to an attorney or
Yeah,
finally?
we'll send them both to our attorney just to make sure we're good.
Okay.
Trying to keep them as simple as possible. We definitely have a very good relationship with our local school here. Refunds and abatements. I think there was one. So. Well, total of $605.15.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
EMD budget, something Dave Har, our emergency management director, has been working on. And, he's been very good about pursuing the FEMA grants. And we're eligible for $5,000 every year in FEMA grants, for our emergency management, department. And as part of that work, Laurel has to spend a lot of time, putting that grant together along with David, along with, Rick Nicoletti. And part of that grant, what is eligible to, is to offset the costs of applying for the grant. So we've been given, the EMD a stipend every year, $2,000. But Dave came up with a plan to do $3,000 for the EMD, $1,500 for the deputy EMD, which is me currently, but if anyone has any issue about the $1,500 for the deputy, I'd be happy to forego it, $1,000 for support staff for the work that Laurel does, and $500 for support staff for the treasurer. Currently, we have $6,000 in the budget for that line item for the EMD. We can bring in the $5,000 of the FEMA grant to cover the costs of all the work that gets done. And so the total budget would be $10,000, but offset by the $5,000 that we get in the grant. So really, it's kind of a savings of $1,000 because, we have an extra $1,000 in the budget. I can get a copy of this for you. And again, like I said, if anyone thinks there's any issue with me being the deputy EMD, I'm fine with that. I will say, I attend all the regional planning team meetings. I'm the vice chair of the regional emergency planning team. I'm also on the ESF 7, where the emergency support function, and we do the logistics and management and resource support for all of that. But something to think about maybe for the next meeting. We'll get you a copy of that. Okay, to go back. But I have to say that David and Laurel and Rick do a lot of work to get that grant together so we can have those funds for the EMD. Anything on that?
No, we should take advantage of any grant that we can get.
Yeah.
At this point right now.
Fortunately, I think the three of them have been working really well together on that, and I think there's one year that we kind of missed out.
2020.
2020. So just because the supporting information wasn't there,
Yeah.
Because of retention schedule, we eliminated some invoices that we could have utilized for the 2020 grant, but maybe we'll talk about it, think about it until the next meeting, come up with something. Before and after school care, we tried, we definitely did try, but we just did not get the response that we needed to make it really affordable for the families. I think we ended up having 6 or 7 children that the parents felt they could put into the program. We really need about 10 to make it worthwhile, because even at 10 children, it was $250 a month per child, which gets kind of expensive for people. And without having the 10 at $250 per child, we really didn't have the funds to, hire someone to actually run the program. I'm hoping, someone did reach out to Kristen DeVilla today, I think through email, and said, what can we do? Because there's no child care in the area, although I think there is at least one in town. I said, well, really reach out to Region 20. They kind of eliminated this program, which I understand why. I think they could have eliminated other things instead of this program. But they chose to eliminate this program, and they really kind of dropped it in the laps of the towns who just don't have, we're not in the business of childcare.
Right.
If we could do it, we would have done it, but we just don't have the resources to do it. So hopefully they're able to find, other alternative means for their children in the morning and after school. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it.
Mhm.
Appointments. Senior Center Commission, happily, like to see Carol Anderson and Beverly Huntley reappointed to the Senior Center Commission. Terms of 3/23/25 to 3/22/28. So motion for that.
Yeah, I'll make that motion for both of them.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
ARPA funds. We end up setting aside, I believe, it was about 45,000 for the Eldridge generator, which will get installed as soon as the weather is good enough and the generator is here. There's also approximately 35,000 additional for the bathrooms. We're checking on the remaining funds. And I mentioned in previous meetings, I think it would be great to get that driveway set at the Munson House just for safe access. And even if we don't have enough in the remaining funds, I think we have some in the capital maintenance line item, which would cover that driveway. We could probably get that done this spring. So we'll see if there's enough left for anything. If not, we'll just pour it to the firehouse project, whatever's left over. If it's not enough to do that. I think we probably did a good job with all the ARPA funding, got some good projects completed.
Yeah.
We didn't waste it at all, didn't hire people up with it that other places did and ended up having to come up with that money in their next budget.
Right, yeah.
Saw a lot of that in school systems. Fortunately, Region 6 did not do that. So that should end our ARPA. Correspondence, I have a little report. Oh, actually, you know what? Grand list. Our assessor completed the grand list. And it's fortunately, as I expected, a decrease given the motor vehicle reductions and the assessments on motor vehicles. And we're right in line with other towns on the reduction in motor vehicles, about 15%. Is the way the legislature changed the assessment of these motor vehicles. Plus the veterans disability also factored in there as well in the reduction on the grand list. Because the legislature again didn't really define what qualified as the disability. It was a full disability 100%. We're going to be looking at that in this session, but anyways, given the way they had to do it this time, we did see a 15% decrease in motor vehicle, a 1% increase in real estate, but what saved us was the 55%, although it's not a lot, but 55% increase in the personal property. So we ended up at 0.93% increase in the grand list. It's better than the negative, for sure. Also, in correspondence, as far as, we've been addressing some outstanding issues with Region 6, now how are they to be handled? And we were told by the State Board of Ed, I talked with an attorney today, that Region 6 ceased operations on July 1st, 2024. Any leftover issues from Region 6 will be the responsibility of Region 20. I am gonna reach out to our attorney to see how that's gonna work with the pension. Because for the former Region 6 employees, it's my understanding that 3 members from the Region 6 board were the trustees on that pension. Does that transfer to Region 20 or not? That's a big question. Another big question is also, how is the Region 6 debt gonna be handled? Because was it transferred over? Can it be transferred over, the bonding? So hopefully Region 20's been working on it, but I haven't heard anything from Region 20. The highway, they've been working on winter maintenance, and the equipment, including the restoration of the old plow that will be used for the loader. They totally restored it. We've been meeting with the engineers to prepare for the work on Looking Glass Hill Road. We did apply for that TRIPS program, Transit Rural Improvement Program grant. It's a 80-20 split on that. I'm not sure how soon we'll hear whether we got that grant or not. But they've begun the work anyways because they have a lot of drainage to do there on that road, and they're actually clearing trees today, I believe, up on the corner towards the Route 202 end. Also, I'm working on a small town economic assistance program grant or STEEP grant for recreational courts at the town beach. Depending on the estimated costs, that will include 2 pickleball courts and an area for other activities. I did meet with a company that does these courts out of Woodbury. They did the Bethlehem courts. He's going to throw together kind of a preliminary design and cost estimate to be included with the application for the grants. We've set aside some monies for that in the current capital budget. We may need a little bit more because the state of Connecticut likes to see a 20% match on these grants. Fortunately for us, we have a good track record with spending of the STEEP grants. We get them spent. They don't languish, somewhere for 10 years and go unspent. So hopefully they'll look favorably on us with that.
Where are we looking for those to be?
The courts,
Mm-hmm.
as you drive into the town beach on the left side, we did some just before the horseshoe courts.
Out on the lower.
Below the soccer field. We did some work there already. It's all been cleared and stumped, and topsoil was removed last summer. So we're
Prepping.
well on the way. I think the highway department will do most of the work for the site prep, including drainage and doing the base. I think they have to have 4 to 6 inches of I can't remember exactly what material, I guess you could say. So the town crew can do a lot of that. That'll help us.
And when do you think we'll hear back?
It's hard to tell because it's bonded money, and then the bond commission has to meet and to make their decision at the state level. Sometimes it moves quickly, other times you wait until the end of the end of our fiscal year, so maybe in June. But once we know, we can move forward pretty quickly.
Okay. And the prepping is our portion of the difference.
Yeah, we're gonna have definitely for the processed gravel, drainage pipe, all that stuff's gonna cost us some money.
But that's what we have to bring.
Yeah, to the table. Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be a nice benefit, I obviously a proponent of pickleball, but you just see it everywhere and
It's everywhere.
everyone can play it and everyone does.
Yeah.
The
So,
courts are packed every time I have seen them.
yeah, it's nice. All right, have been getting the department budget requests coming in, and I'm working on the budget worksheet for 25-26. Probably should have it ready for sometime in March for our review and pass it on to the Board of Finance. Obviously, we're not looking for much of an increase if we can, given our situation with Region 20. A lot of unknowns there. We do expect an increase in health insurance, not sure how much yet. I've heard, 8 to 12%, but we shall see. And big news, the town of Morris is changing over to .gov as of this Friday. We will now be at morrisct.gov. Yeah, finally got there. We have started the process through Evan at our website. He's working on that. The email change will begin over the weekend. Each email address will install an auto response to emails that it receives, notifying the sender that this email address is no longer valid and to update their information with a new email address. The forwarding from the old email to the new one could probably go on for a good 6 months, just so we hit everyone that, through a year, most of the year. And this change has been recommended for security purposes, cybersecurity purposes, and the state is actually considering legislation to mandate that towns and cities switch over to .gov. So we're there. And along with that new domain change, we're also replacing our on-site servers as well, which will be included in this year's budget. Fortunately, a lot less costly than it used to be, and we can cover it with computer replacement. Basically, it's a computer hard drive for the on-site servers. Also, with technology, I did attend a Council of Small Town annual meeting last week and met with some people about changing over to voice over internet phone system. And based on their preliminary numbers, it looks like a pretty good savings for the town. Our Frontier bills just keep going up and up and up. Just when we brought them down a bit by eliminating some stuff that was on it, they jacked them back up again. So I should be meeting with that person either this week or next week and get a firm number. All new phones, our current system's over 20 or 25 years old. It's not supported any longer. And we'll either purchase or lease the new phones, and it should be a good way to go. Hopefully we'll have more options like caller ID and something like that. But definitely a decrease in per line charge as well. So we have 17 lines we use. And that'll cover all the offices, even off-site of the town hall. Solar company reached out. They're going to do a phase 1 environmental site assessment at the transfer station for the solar array project. Basically, that's really looking for signs of contamination of soil in the groundwater and soil gas, but I really don't expect much there at all. That ground that we're putting the solar array on is former farmland. So you may find some pesticides or something like that on this contamination, but that's to be expected. And we've done groundwater testing there since we closed out the old landfill, and we have not picked up anything in the groundwater testing. So there shouldn't be a problem. A couple small projects we're looking at to do is lining the septic pipe from the town hall bathrooms out to the first manhole out here. We continue to have some issues with that line clogging up. So we're going to have it videotaped and assessed and probably get it relined, with a vinyl. I think it's some sort of vinyl liner they can push down through there, because that has been an issue every so often, but it's expensive. It adds up. We're looking at installation of cameras at the transfer station and senior center. And also waiting to hear from CEN, which is the Connecticut Educational Network. They provide our internet here at the town hall. I'm waiting to hear from them about adding the transfer station, the highway department, senior center, and Town Beach to that internet service. If we can get that done, get it wired back to this town hall from each of those locations, we're looking at probably $65 a month for internet service at each of those locations. And that's for a commercial. That's a really good price. So hopefully I'll know the answer to that by the end of February. If not, we'll have to explore finding the best price with the commercial operators out there currently. Has anyone changed over? Are you Optimum or?
I went from Optimum to Frontier. And I had a big savings.
Yeah.
It seems like, unfortunately, it seems like every couple of years, you have to switch over to somebody. I don't know why.
They won't maintain a price.
Yeah. I mean, I cut my bill in half.
Yeah.
Here at the Optimum.
Yeah, I'm about $110 a month with Optimum right now, and I could probably get down to $50 in Frontier.
That's about what I am too, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you have to do this, but. It's unfortunate because when, oh, you know more about it than I do, but when you make a change, your email, you have to change everything.
Oh. if
Cause
you
I didn't
use
have a
theirs-
Gmail account, so I had to change everything.
Yep.
And,
Really?
yeah,
So hopefully that'll work and we can see some savings there as well, because we're paying way too much money for internet service at the other locations.
The cameras? Is that alarm system or just cameras,
Cameras.
like a ring?
Yeah,
Is somebody being notified if something's going on?
they can be remotely viewed through a phone app.
And who would that just?
Probably Dave
managers?
Hart and
Okay.
Kristen. Dave asked for him for a while because, you know, liability issues, people following, you know, things like that. We had some thefts down there. And I think that would be helpful at the transfer station. Kristen is concerned about safety, you know, because she's there alone quite a bit. Her hours are definitely different than most of the employees. And she's there alone, you know, pretty often, so she would like to have a little sense of security
But would
and.
your office have access to all of the?
We could, I got a meeting with the guy tomorrow at 10 o'clock at the transfer station to look at doing that down there, and then we'd go down to the senior center. Just to get an idea of what he thinks it might cost and what the options are. She's, you know, definitely worried about even just. You know, inside. The building, because the doors are open to the public quite a bit, so.
Okay,
And I would definitely recommend some outside near the steps and the walkways.
I think you almost have to today.
Yeah,
With vandalism. And like you said, somebody falling in something.
Yeah.
I think you almost have to do it.
yeah,
yeah, just understanding who else would have access to the,
yeah, not many, you know, there'd be a backup on it too, so if something does happen that we didn't catch, we can go back and see it probably 60 days back. Something like that.
okay,
Yeah, I think it's been, you know, I know it was a big change here when we put them in, but I think it was a positive thing. I think it helped quite a bit. We did see a reduction in slip and falls, things like that.
okay,
So that was a lot.
yeah.
Any, did you guys have any from the community at all?
Mm-mm.
Public comment, anyone online? Hearing none. So, yeah, for the next meeting, look through the you know, if I get the MOU from Region 20 for JMS, I'll send that out to you. But maybe we can look through this stuff and see if anything stands out. Is there anything else? I think that's it.
But we have a commitment from Region 20 on James Morris School.
Yeah, they have to, as part of their emergency plan, they have to have that in place. So Rick Pinkowski is definitely looking at it. Not really.
Is it two different? Or one covering both locations?
Well, two different, one just for the students and staff to utilize this as a shelter, and then the other one will be for us to utilize their building as an emergency shelter for big events.
But we can't do that in one document, we have to do two separate.
Yeah,
Okay.
so. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn at
I'll make the motion.
5:03?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Is this fine?
Yes.